Welcome to Caregiver Counsel, Elder Law Insights with Tieesha Taylor.
When a parent suddenly needs care, it can feel like the ground shifts overnight. Families often ask me, where do we even start? That's what today's conversation is all about. Welcome to Caregiver Counsel, Elder Law Insights. I'm Tieesha Taylor, founder and CEO of Elderly Care Law Firm here in South Florida. In my practice, I see families every day who feel overwhelmed when elder care issues suddenly land on their plate. From Medicaid and guardianship to probate and long term care, it can feel like there are 1,000 questions and no clear roadmap. That's why I'm joined today by my colleague, Attorney Dejia Glover, who is known for bringing both clarity and compassion to families during these difficult moments. Together, we'll walk through the very first steps families should take when elder care gets complicated. Dejia, welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So before we dive in, can you share a little bit about your background and what inspired you to focus on elder law?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Dejia. I grew up in South Florida, where the law firm is located, and I always had a dream to be an attorney. So when I finally entered law school and I applied for my first law clerk job, I didn't know where I wanted to go. I didn't know the career path. I didn't know the concentration I wanted to do, but I applied for Elderly Care Law Firm. And upon working at the firm, I cannot say that I entered into it certain that elder law was my goal and what I wanted to work towards as a lawyer. But once I actually started practicing in the field and being able to interact with the families, really just being able to see the relief that we provide for the families in need, it was a done deal. It was a no-brainer. I truly love how rewarding the field is because I'm able to help and guide and provide that sense of clarity for the families that come to our office.
Thank you. And we are happy to have you a part of our team. Now, as you know, families often come to us in crisis mode. They're emotional, overwhelmed, and unsure what to do first. Now, when you sit down with them, where do you start?
So the first thing that we have to ensure is to gain some kind of clarity. What is the client facing currently? What are their pressure points? What are they facing? What are they dealing with? And what is the ultimate goal? What are they trying to accomplish? Every family that comes in, it's not a cookie cutter approach. We have to alter our direction and our strategy to each client. And the only way to fully assess what is appropriate is to actually get to know the families that we're working with.
Medicaid, guardianship, probate. There are so many terms families hear but don't always understand. How do you begin making these complex issues feel manageable?
Yes, that is one of the hurdles that we have to deal with every day because the client's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What is a personal representative? What is a guardian? What does that mean? And we basically just try to walk them through the steps. Of course, use layman terms so they understand and use real life examples of what we mean. So like, for example, instead of saying, well, you'll be the guardian, I'll say like, for example, you'll be the caretaker. You'll be responsible for making sure that the bills are paid, making sure that the doctor's appointments are met and things like that. So we definitely want to explain in baby steps so they're able to follow along. But we're here throughout the whole way. So we want to make sure that they understand what's going on and we're not just in the background taking over and they can't even reiterate what we're doing on our end.
That's true. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because we definitely try to make it as simple as possible for our clients, making sure they're understanding and meeting them where they are. So, and breaking it down because as attorneys, we can start using legalese and these huge terms, but these are families that are coming to us really seeking guidance. And I'm happy that you bring that up and brought that up regarding keeping it simple for our clients. So tell us, what are the most common mistakes families make in those first days or weeks when they're scrambling to respond to a crisis, when they have a crisis with the relative, maybe with their parents or grandparents? What are some mistakes they make in those first days or weeks when they're trying to figure things out?
Yes. So the first and biggest mistake that I've witnessed is they run to the internet. They run to TikTok. They run to their friends and they try to get legal advice that may not even be binding. And the issue is that, yes, we have these resources, they help us. However, we have to make sure that the steps that we take are applicable to the law. We have to make sure that the steps that we select are appropriate to the situation. So I believe that the internet is providing cookie cutter solutions to something that can be so complex. And that's the first issue that I see that they do. They run and they just try to figure it all out. But honestly, in certain situations, especially in crisis, it is imperative to contact an elder law attorney because you can make one mistake and it'll ruin the whole plan. And now you're in a bigger situation had you been if you contacted the attorney.
Great. Very true. And we see also many caregivers feel guilty, like they should already have a plan in place. They should know it all. What do you say to someone who's carrying that kind of burden of knowing it all, or they feel guilty about not having a plan, or that they should already have a plan in place?
I would just like to let you know that it's okay. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. We're human. But that's why there are people in place, elder law attorneys and paralegals. There are people in place that'll help you assess your situation and guide you, take the burden off of you. You don't have to do it alone.
That's right. That's right. And we also oftentimes see emotions between siblings or family members run high in those moments, especially during a crisis. One sibling may want to do this, another want to perform this act. So, how do you help bring clarity and calm to difficult conversations, especially amongst the family members and a client?
Yes. First, I believe it is important to understand everyone's perspective because a lot of the times it's not even a true disagreement, it's a misunderstanding.
Mhm.
There's someone that may not understand the process or don't fully understand the steps that are necessary to achieve the goal. And that translates to communication. That translates to outside sources. Now we're telling cousins and friends what this person is doing, when whole time it's just a miscommunication. So it's important that everyone understands the steps as we take them. We explain as early as explaining what does this mean. Like, so for example, Medicaid. Well, what does Medicaid even mean?
Mhm.
Who's eligible? What are the steps to be qualified and approved for Medicaid? We have to start from the top. That's the only way they're going to understand. That's the only way the relatives and the other families are going to understand the steps that the caregiver is going to have to take. It's not about power, it's about understanding.
Now, you've worked with our firm for 3 years as a law clerk and you are an attorney. Can you share an example of a family you worked with who felt lost at first and how our firm helped guide them through that process?
Yes. So I can recall one specific client near and dear to my heart. She was frantic because her dad had fallen ill and he needed help around the clock. And she works a 9 to 5. She's like, I need to put my dad in an assisted living facility, but he does not have the money. I do not have the money. We need Medicaid. I don't know what to do.
Mhm.
The issue is that she was trying to have the legal authorities to, for example, access his bank records or even apply to DCF, be able to speak to DCF to get the father approved. But the issue is she wasn't a registered agent. And we were able to have her appointed as the power of attorney. And we were able to walk her through the steps to be approved for Medicaid. And to this day, it's been years now. He is still eligible for Medicaid. We still check in on them. He's still doing fine. And he actually loves his assisted living facility. So,
Great.
yes.
All right. Wonderful. Thanks for sharing that story, Deja. What are some of the most common issues that caregivers face when you're meeting with them? What are some of the most common issues that they're facing when they're coming to meet with an elder law firm?
I realize that the most common issues are typically trying to get the affairs in order, but not having the legal authority to do so. Also, not knowing the first steps to take or the
Mhm.
correct steps to take.
Mhm.
So I think it's very imperative that you contact the elder attorney first because sometimes I've seen clients come in and they already made 3 steps that we would have to retract. So I definitely say if you're coming in and you need help, you don't know what to do, but you know you need to get the affairs in order, like paying bills or having access to bank accounts, you have to start with the other law attorney to make sure it's done correctly so that you don't have to backtrack.
Finally, what encouragement would you offer families who feel like they're drowning in paperwork, decisions, and emotions right now?
Yes, I would definitely suggest number one, take a deep breath. Number two, contact your elder law attorney. There's so much relief in understanding that there is someone who can take that load off of your shoulders. There's someone that can guide you through the steps one by one and to ensure that you understand it and it's completed correctly. There's so much relief in seeing your goals being achieved, everything that you thought what couldn't happen because right now in its face it just looks impossible. It looks too daunting. But there's someone out there. There are elder law attorneys here at Elderly Care Law Firm that are here to help and guide you through whatever crisis you may be dealing with.
Deja, thank you so much. And thank you for joining me for the compassionate way you guide families through some of life's hardest situations. Now, tell us if someone wants to reach out to you for more information, how could they reach you? How can they contact you?
Yes. So first, you can always contact me at the office, Elderly Care Law Firm. Our phone number is 305-836-4697. But you can also follow me on social media. I have a TikTok and Instagram. It's Dej, Dej, period, Esquire. Both handles, TikTok and Instagram. And I also have a LinkedIn. That'll be my first and last name, Dejia Glover, DejiaGlover.
Thank you, Deja. Now, to our listeners, if your family is facing questions about elder law, elder care, Medicaid, or guardianships, you don't have to figure it out alone. Visit us at elderlycarelawfirm.com or, like Deja stated, call us at 305-836-4697 to learn how we can help. And if today's episode was helpful, please like, leave a review, and subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.